Yeah, we're talking about boosting agriculture and agricultural investment here, and a lot of issues have been thrown up, especially in that background report. Professor Gambo, probably you want to respond to some of the major key trends in sustainable agriculture, and what are these indicators?
Thank you very much. Good morning, viewers. Now, when you're talking about agricultural development, or you want to make sure some people come into your country to invest, first and foremost, you have to make the environment enabling for them, conducive for somebody that is coming from another place to help you in developing your own agricultural subsector. Now, there are some few examples.
Okay.
First and foremost, how are your routes leading to where the farms are? Secondly, do you have a very good cold storage system, kind of post-harvest, preventive, loss prevention, etc.? And thirdly, and most importantly, how is your power grid? Do you have 24/7 all over the country, kind of? And under normal circumstances, if you're talking about investment, without these three indicators, there is no way any good person can make it. It's not possible. So first and foremost, we have to look inwards. We have the potentials, we know. We have the human population, we know. We have the labor, we know. We have the excellent agroecological climate conditions from the north to the south, we know. But then that will not solve our problem. We still have to go a little bit further to make sure that certain things are in place. If the person comes, how comfortable is he? How acceptable are the people going to be to him? Thirdly, how will he feel that there is this kind of real issues everywhere? Light is not a problem in most countries in the world today. Light is something that is just common. But in Nigeria, light is still not common. Electricity is not common. We're talking of 24/7. And then you are not talking of agricultural things that are perishable, most of them, fruits, vegetables, dairy products, fish, etc., that cannot stay outside the fridge for more than 24 hours. Without constant electricity, there is no way any good investor will come in to do any good business here. And then thirdly, and most importantly, there is what they call the tax holidays. What is the federal government and, of course, the subnationals doing to make sure to lure investors to come into the country? And then what is the impact so far? But then if this kind of scenario is not around, no serious investor will definitely like to come into the country, definitely.
All right, Prof, thank you very much. And I will take my...
Let's come to Professor Gambo now. And I mean, you've talked about the various challenges, that is, actually hindering investment in the agricultural sector, especially the issue of infrastructure. And he also talked about the issue of land ownership and all that stuff. So what is the way forward now? How do we begin to address all these challenges if we want a change and if we want the desired results? Because from what Claire said, successive governments have always talked about the issue of agriculture. How do we bring it back to life? You understand? So what is the way forward?
Thank you very much. Now, from the academic point of view, definitely we've actually moved forward agriculturally in this country. When you look at the policies, different policies being shown now, starting from the Green Revolution thing to the latest one of Green Alternative, and then the NAPTIP that we are still talking about, I think we are making successes, really. Then come and look at the academia also. Prior, there were no specialized universities of agriculture. Now we have federal universities of just for agriculture, about 5. And then agriculture is a major course. Is most private universities, most state universities, telling you that the manpower that we are now producing in the agricultural sector is much, much more than what we used to have before. And also talking about the research institutes, they've been upgraded. But then, it's not a kind of overnight thing. You have to take your steps gently, but then you just have to, your timeline, your deliverables, and what you want to achieve. Now, the most important thing in all that we are talking about, I think if you do not bring mechanization into the present method of agricultural development in Nigeria, whereby you just have the subsistence farmers left on their own with their hoes and cutlasses, and then the population is ever growing, you understand? There is no kind of matrix between what we are saying and what we are doing. There has to be a kind of synergy between agencies, synergy between the research institutes and the farmers, synergy among universities also, synergies, exchange programs that we used to have before. You send some professors outside to another country, they gain some knowledge, come back and impact it here. All these things are no longer there. But like I said, we're actually making successes. Now, when you look at the template of the total number of graduates, agricultural graduates in Nigeria, it will amaze you. Go to any NYC camp, when you see female, before we were saying female are not doing agriculture, now when you see female and then the male counterparts having graduated agriculture, it will amaze you. But now they are there, where should we put them in? All of them cannot go back into the academia to be lecturers. No. That's why I said there has to be a kind of synergy. We know the number of graduates we are producing every year. Before we produce them, is there a kind of company? Is there a kind of mega farm? Is there a kind of mega project that can actually absorb them the moment they leave the university? So I think these are the kind of thinking we're talking about. Then I just want to chip in something about cassava. You know, whether we like it or not, Nigeria today is the greatest producer of cassava in the whole world, and we have to beat our chest. Not the cotton, hoe and cutlass thing, but then we're talking about the derivatives, the ethanol thing we're talking about, the starch and other things, and I think that's a good way to go. Now, Kabir said we are doing the 3. I was there yesterday, and I will be there today and tomorrow also. It's hand-in-hand agriculture irrigation project. And you know, irrigation is very important because we just have one season, rain-fed agriculture. And with our ever-increasing population, one season agriculture can never tackle the food security issues in Nigeria. That's why I've always said you have to look at other alternatives. What are the other alternatives? Let's bring in the rain irrigated also. And the workshop is for 3 days, and I think so far so good. Most of the crops we're talking about, maize is an irrigated crop, tomato also irrigated, cassava can also be irrigated, and we've already noticed that these are crops that have wider acceptability all over the country. So by the time you tackle these crops, you are actually saying a big goodbye to hunger in Nigeria.
All right.
But you said something that, Prof, that we have a large turnout of, youths, in the agricultural sector, but the problem is being able to absorb them. But even if you absorb them, how do you retain them? Because most of the time, the system does not make it attractive to the youth. So how do we make it attractive?
Yeah, I was thinking, I said a kind of mega farm. Did you hear me say that? I said mega farm, whereby once you have the graduates, assume you have a farm that can actually take about 1,000 youths at a time.
Okay.
So that farm can be going to NYC camps and they're looking for where are the agri-graduates, That's the kind of thing I'm positing. If there are this kind of farms, maybe 3, 4 in the country, and before you know it, once they are at the camp, you see people coming with tallies, trying to know how many agri-graduates are in crop production, how many are in livestock, how many are in fishery, how many are in horticulture, etc., so that you already know where to fix them. And I think that's why I said there has to be a synergy. We cannot be allowing our agricultural graduates to be roaming off Abba, and most of them are not ready to accept the whole and then the little hectareages to be aching on the farms. Definitely not. That's why we have the huge aging population. The average age of a typical Nigerian farmer is now about 61, 62. All the youths are not there. Yes, ma'am.
But Prof, let me ask you. I wanted to ask Dr. Kungo, a question. But since you talked about research, I don't know if Architect Kabir will agree with me. Farmers say that the research that are done, remain in the shelves in the universities, and don't reach them. So how is it possible? How can that be made possible? I mean, today everybody in the villages have smartphones. So if they can have access to smartphones, why can't they have access to your research works?
Clear research is demand driven. You have to ask for you to get it. All the universities, we do plenty of researches, our chefs, like you rightly said. And
are inundated.
Exactly. We do researches for us to gain a promotion, etc. But then what I want to say is that there used to be a kind of very effective and efficient extension delivery system. Youths on bikes that will go to the research institutes or will go to the farms, get the problems of the farmers, rush back to the universities or to the research institute. These are the particular problems now. Then you now take the solution and also rush back to the farmers. But this one is no longer there again.
Good.
Yeah, but we have the what is going on? Is it not the social media now, Abi? The internet now. They don't have to go to the farm. They can.
But not every farmer. Not every farmer.
But no, we're talking about the youth now. He's talking about the youth now.
Yeah, talking about the youth, they have to be engaged.
Yeah.
And then they have to be given some little training. It's not like because I've just graduated from agriculture.
Who should engage them?
The government, of course.
Which government?
The federal government. Extension delivery system. That's what I'm saying. It has to be a kind of federal government-driven thing. Then the states also take it down. If there is no effective, well-coordinated extension delivery system, there is no way agriculture will make any progress.
Okay,
because
fine.
the new researches we are making are with us. The research institutes, the new varieties of crops are there. But then the farmers are not aware of it. There has to be a middle person. And that middle person must come from the government. That's why I said the government has to make the environment conducive for this kind of things. Where were the extension workers of the past?
Prof, thank you.
This one is from Kashim Bashir Umar from Kano. It said, for agriculture to thrive, there must be effective synergy between the federal and subnational government, as agriculture falls under the concurrent legislative list in the country. Consequently, any meaningful breakthrough in the sector requires the three tiers of government demonstrate strong political will and commitment. Then the second one says, good morning, NTA. Government has to come up with a deliberate design that will encourage the youths into farming. Like Professor posited, the agricultural sector has to have a mother center that will engage agricultural graduates in the farm during their service years. Okay, Prof, you want to respond
I want to go a
these?
little bit practical now.
Okay.
You know, we're talking about investment. I want to give two very good examples.
Okay.
Now, yesterday, the table that Architect Ibrahim sat was also the table that the man that is handling the Dangote tomato factory was sitting. So while he was making his own contribution, the Dangote tomato factory is along this Kano-Kura axis. And they said they have the capacity for 40 trucks of fresh tomatoes to be processed every day. But the factory has been closed for the last 3 years. So many challenges. We talked about the energy. We talked about even the outgrowers. And then in my mind, as I was sitting, I said, look at job for all my students now all over. All the universities in the northern states, from Usmanu Danfodio to University of Maiduguri, you understand? If Dangote is ready, all you need to do is you have a particular seed or variety of tomato that you want your company to produce. The easiest place to go is for you to meet the universities. Every university in Nigeria has a commercial farm, and every faculty of agriculture has practical demonstration farms. When I was head of department crop production, one convocation, I said, the vice chancellor, don't buy any vegetable from anywhere. And that was how we did it. We forced our students to grow the onions, the cabbage, the pepper, the okra, everything. In fact, at the end of the day, he was even giving them out to people that came in. But what I'm trying to say is, if you have a factory of this kind of capacity, you must have thought at the beginning, where are your raw materials going to come from? Very important. Then secondly, if you have a particular variety, how are you going to source that variety to make sure that it's available for you? We're talking of 40 trucks of fresh tomatoes to be processed every single day. And it's just lying there, fallow, wasted for the last 3 years. I don't know the other challenges, but then if it is production, I'm telling you, by the time you go to all the universities in the northern part of the country, you tell them, we want this particular tomato, give us this amount. Tomato is an irrigated crop.
What about other people like Erisco Tomato that produces? What would investing in agriculture mean for people like Erisco Tomato?
Yeah, what we are talking about now is the man has already set up his factory.
Yeah.
But then he has to close it down. So what impact or what message is that person? If somebody wants to come in and then do another tomato factory, this would be a kind of great disappointment to anybody that is coming to invest in tomatoes in Nigeria, honestly.
But
then talking about Erisco,
yes,
you understand? He has the kind of market or his outgrowers where he can get the tomatoes.
Yes.
But don't forget that in most cases they are not 100% what we assume are in the can. It might not be 100% tomatoes. Yesterday it came to the purview that most of the tomatoes that you now consume in your house, in these sachets and tins, most of them contain more maize.
That is those imported, not
exactly,
the imported tomatoes.
More corn, more maize, more coloring, etc. The man said it all yesterday, and it was everybody had it. So what I'm saying is that if you really want to invest, there should be this enabling environment. Get your target first. What are your timeline? What are your deliverables? How are you going to convey your product to the factory, etc.? And now the one person talked about this synergy, and I still want to emphasize the synergy. You know, by the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture does not own a single hectare of land. The subnationals do. They own the land. And if you own the land, you also own the farmers. So that's why this synergy is very important. Nobody can do it solo. It's not possible. Federal Ministry of Agriculture cannot do it solo. The states cannot do it solo. So we are now asking for more proactive, pragmatic synergy. If the minister is talking, let him talk with all the commissioners of agriculture in all the 36 states so that there is a kind of good synergy amongst them all.
All right. I want to, fasten our conversation because time is fast spent so that we can chip in a few more questions before we round off. Dr. Kengo, I mean, at yesterday's event, I wasn't there. I think it was shown live. You said it was shown live yesterday? Yes, okay.
One, better production. 2, better nutrition. 3, better environment. And 4, better life for all the citizens of the world.
Better life for all the citizens. Dr. Okengo, 30 seconds.
Think on. FAO or FAO should just be a support agency. We should think it through. If we have the Professor Gambos in this country, we should be able to return them, to research centers that can be funded to begin to participate in now proving outputs. That's the way to go.
Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. Professor Abba Gambo, Department of Crop Production, University of Maiduguri, thank you so much for your contribution this morning.
Thank you very much. I will begin to fast like you.
Dr. Emeka Okengu, would you also join us in this trip?
Thank you. I'm lean enough.
All right. Thank you so much, Architect Kabir Ibrahim, President, Nigeria Agribusiness Group, and President, All Farmers Association of Nigeria, Chairman, Agriculture and Livestock Trade Group, Nasima. Thank you so much for your robust contribution.
Thank you very much, but I know why you are fasting, because you have no money.
All right,
thank you so much.
That's Good Morning Nigeria for today. We thank you. I am Claire Adelabu Abdulrazak.
And I'm Ademaladi. Thank you for joining us. See you again tomorrow.